Hi, I'm Steven and I make cardboard costumes and props. Today I'm making Loki's dagger from the TV show Loki. Let's get started. As always, a link to the free template is in the description of this video. Making this dagger is actually pretty simple. For the blade, we're going to stack a few different layers of thin poster board together, one on top of another. Starting off with the largest size, I tape the template onto flimsy poster board and cut it out with scissors or an X-Acto knife. I scored along the dotted line in the center of each of these pieces with the help of my trusty ruler. Scoring just means that I didn't cut all the way through. The scored lines helped me bend everything in the right spot. I did the same thing for the other side of the dagger, and see? Bent down the center, nice and neat. Both sides are going to go and fit together like this, but first I cut out all the pieces, working my way inward on the template. If you make this dagger, always remember to score the center line first, otherwise you're probably going to end up cutting a crooked line or your finger or something like that. Safety first. After a little bit of cutting, I was left with these pieces, two big ones and then all the inner decorative ones. I bent down the scored lines and then glued one of each design on top of each other and then repeated it for the other side. I used Mod Podge to glue my pieces together, but feel free to use regular white glue if that's all that you have. See, it looks like steps. To glue these two pieces together, I slathered the edges with more glue, and then I held it in place while the glue dried. It's not as daunting as it seems because the blade is pretty sturdy at this point because all the layers of poster board that are glued on top of each other makes it kind of rigid. When that glue dried, it was time to move on to making the crossguard. When I started filming, I originally planned to only use 3 pieces of corrugated cardboard for the crossguard, but I quickly realized that 5 pieces would look so much better, so I cut out 5 pieces and I kept a gap in the middle one, and I glued all these 5 pieces together. The gap in the middle of the crossguard was a little bit narrow, so I took a pencil and carefully pushed it through the hole so it would widen it up a bit, but still remain a snug fit around the pencil. To cover all the corrugation, I took some scraps from the poster board and cut out a top, bottom, and 2 side pieces. The top and bottom had a hole in the center that lined up with the hole on the crossguard. The hole is the exact size of a number 2 pencil because that's what I'm going to use to stick everything together. A bunch of white glue glued it all together and it was a clean looking box. Basically, you just cover up all the corrugation. On to the hilt. The hilt is a fancy word for the handle of the dagger, and this particular hilt ended up being 3 pieces that looked like this. I cut them out of corrugated cardboard. However, to attach it to the rest of the dagger, I needed to cut a hole that could fit a pencil in the middle piece. So I sketched it out, cut it out, and then trimmed a pencil to fit that channel that I just cut into it. The goal was to have a very tight fit, and it definitely was tight. I was a little worried that it was too tight, but I glued the layers together, and while I was shaping the edges, I slid a pencil inside so I can shape the edges with the pencil inside so it would be kind of like a custom form-fitted hilt. Oh, and shaping the edges just means that I put glue down the sides where the corrugation was showing and pinched them together until the corrugation was no longer visible and it kind of had like pinched, rounded edges. This was actually the trickiest part of this entire build, and I was covered in glue at the end, but it really wasn't too bad. Your fingers are just going to get covered in glue. Once dried, I wrapped 2 thin pieces of poster board around the hilt right near the top, and then I glued a decoration onto either side of the crossguard just to give it some visual interest. This decoration is just a loopy looking design that I completely made up since the Loki design is a little bit too intricate for my fat fingers to cut out. A little bit more glue was added near the pencil so everything would be as sturdy as possible, and then it was time to paint. The paint job is also super simple. Everything was painted in black craft paint, including the blade. When that dried, the hilt and crossguard got a coat of light gold, and then the blade a coat of silver. Even though it was a tight fit, in order to just have peace of mind that it wouldn't fall apart, I added some glue to the exposed area of the pencil, slid the blade on top of it, and yeah, time for the glamour shots. There you have it, Loki's dagger from the Loki TV show. I'm really happy with how it turned out, and I hope you guys like it too. It's actually the first dagger that I've ever made, and I'm really inspired to make some more. I was originally waiting to post this video until season 2 of Loki starts next month, but decided to post it now since Marvel Snap started featuring Loki cards a few days ago. I really hope you guys like how it turned out. Anyway, feel free to subscribe, like the video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye-bye!